Hello, good evening. It's News 360 coming to you live from the News Hub here at Adesawe Kanda. I am Portia Gabo.
And I am Martin Asiedu-Data. These are the headlines for the next 1 hour.
News 360 Headlines is brought to you by
Flamingo Paint,
Pepsodent Charcoal and Pepsodent Herbal,
EcoBank.
Defense and Interior Ministers reaffirm government's commitment to boost security morale of personnel in coming year.
And also coming up tonight, Bese District Court orders Interior Ministry to provide details of arrest warrant against 2 alleged accomplices of fraud and romance scam suspect Frederick Kumi aka Abutrika.
Also coming up tonight, the Ministry of Energy assures public of a stable power supply throughout Christmas festivities as engineers intensify work to strengthen electricity infrastructure in the Ashanti region.
Coming up in business news, Chamber of Agribusiness Ghana calls for a quota system to regulate rice imports, aiming to boost production and consumption of local rice.
On the international front, President Donald Trump's administration delays the announcement of China chip tariffs until 2027. A Merry Christmas to you. Thank you for joining us on News 360. We have details of all these stories and more for the next 1 hour.
The news now in detail, and the Acting Minister of Defense, Dr. Kasiel Atuforsen, and the Minister of the Interior, Mohammed Mubarak Muntanka, have announced a complete overhaul of the country's security services in 2026 in an attempt to boost the morale of personnel. Speaking at this year's route march by the Joint Security Services, the 2 ministers reaffirmed government commitments to retooling all security agencies, particularly the military and the fire service.
Hundreds of personnel drawn from the Ghana's security services on Tuesday, December 23, embarked on a joint dawn route march through some principal streets of Accra. The march forms part of efforts to test operational preparedness and strengthen inter-agency collaboration. The exercise involved officers from the Ghana Armed Forces, Ghana Police Service, Ghana Immigration Service, Ghana Prison Service, Ghana National Fire Service, and the Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority. The personnel assembled at the Airwork Sports Stadium at about 4:00 a.m. before marching through areas including 37, Kaukudi, Pig Farm, Mamubi, Nima, Kanda, Sankara, and the Flagstaff House, and then returned to the Airwork Sports Stadium. The Chief of the Defense Staff, Lieutenant General William Ejapon, who participated in the march, said the nature of the security threats facing the country has involved making continuous joint training and collaboration among the security services more critical than ever.
We want to assure the good people of this country, we want to wish them a Merry Christmas, and we want to assure them that the security forces are up to the task. They should continue supporting and praying for us, and we wish them all the best. They should exercise the celebration in moderation.
The Chief of Naval Staff, Rear Admiral Godwin Livinos Bessin, also took part in the walk.
These are activities we have been doing over the years, and to let you know, on occasions like this, we stop leave for everyone, so that we can maintain the necessary strength and tempo in the barracks.
At the end, the acting Minister for Defense, Dr. Cassel Atuforsin, underscored the importance of mutual trust and cooperation among the various security services. He commended the heads of the security agencies for their professionalism and loyalty to the state.
In today's complex security environment, no single service, and I mean no single service, can stand alone. The safety and stability of our dear nation depends on the cooperation, in fact, the interoperability and the mutual trust among all security agencies.
The Minister for the Interior, Mohammed Muntaka Mubarak, assured the personnel of significant improvement in their personal welfare and needs.
We have seen the number of armor that the police have received, and the army, coming here, you are going to be one of the main focus, just as the fire service is going to be one of the main focus. The President has assured us we are going to have a lot of fire tenders. The prisons, we know the risk associated with your work. We are going to be focused. The immigration, we know the border control challenges that you are going through. The police, we know the day-to-day challenges that you are going through. And we are assuring you, by the grace of God, 2026, this time when we meet here, much fewer challenges will still be confronting us.
Joseph Armstrong, Gold Aliwe TV3, Accra.
And in the Upper East Regional Capital of Bolgatanga, security personnel also embarked on a unity route march to reassure the public of their commitment to maintaining peace and security in the region. Castro Senyala has more in the following report.
The route march started from the Bolgatanga Jubilee Park, where all participating agencies assembled. The march included personnel from the Ghana Armed Forces, the Ghana Police Service, the Ghana Immigration Service, and the Ghana National Fire Service. Other participants were drawn from the Ghana Ambulance Service, the Forestry Service Division, the Narcotic Control Authority, and the Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority. After receiving briefings, the personnel kicked off the route march, moving through the principal streets of Bolgatanga. The personnel demonstrated their preparedness to defend and maintain peace and security. Parts of the Upper East region have for some time now experienced violent disturbances that have led to the loss of several lives and properties, necessitating interagency security collaboration to address the situation. After the march, personnel were urged to work in unity to ensure public peace and order at all times.
The Minister and all the service commanders to appreciate the turnout. I mean, when you look at the turnout and as we went around, if you see the way the civilians were looking at us, that is to show that we are actually prepared and ready to face any battle that comes our way.
Like I said earlier, before we started, I said the purpose of this was to unite all of us and to show presence. I believe that has been achieved. Is it clear? I hope we all have our stores intact. Those that came with weapons.
Castro Signala, TV3 News, Bolgatanga.
So well done to you all.
And the Accra Regional Police Command has arrested 132 suspects following a series of special swoops and motor operations conducted across parts of the Accra metropolis. The operation, which is part of efforts to ensure safety during the festivities, also led to the recovery of several items, including motorcycles, suspected stolen items, and narcotic substances.
The special swoop, which began on Thursday, December 18 and ended on Monday, December 22, led to special operations at Alajo, East Legon, Dansoman, Choko, Nungwa, Bawaleshi and Zongolane in the Accra metropolis. Some of the suspects were in possession of opiates, dried leaves, suspected to be Indian hemp, scissors, lighters, laptops, mobile phones, used bags, and the arrest of 36 motorbikes.
The Accra Regional Police Command has arrested a total of 132 suspects and retrieved various exhibits, including narcotic substances, suspected stolen items, and motorcycles during a series of special swoop and motor operations conducted across several divisions within the metropolis as part of sustained efforts to combat crime during this Christmas and beyond. All suspects arrested in the various operations are currently undergoing screening. Those found culpable will be put before the court, while persons not linked to any criminal activity will be released accordingly.
Superintendent Juliana Obeng also announced the arrest of a suspect following a series of thefts at the Diaspora Summit 2025 held at the Accra International Conference Center.
The suspect was found wearing an official summit tag and posing as a legitimate participant. Upon questioning, he failed to provide credible explanation for his presence at the event and was subsequently arrested and detained at the ministry's police station to assist with ongoing investigations. Our further investigations that led us to the residence of the suspect at Ashalibutre. A search was conducted, and the search led us to the recovery of 8 ATM cards belonging to different individuals.
She emphasized that while security measures are in place to prevent crime, the cooperation of the general public is crucial to reducing incidents of theft and ensuring a safe environment for all. While they have assured of their protection and safety, they also encourage the public to be on the lookout and stay vigilant. Grace Hamwajiman, TV3 News, Accra Central Divisional Headquarters.
Let's move to the courts now, and the Gbese District Court has directed the Interior Ministry to, within 5 weeks, give further information regarding warrant of arrest issued against 2 alleged accomplices of wire fraud and romance scam suspect Frederick Kumi. Many of you will know him as Abutrika, after dismissing the bail application for them. Abutrika, Daniel Yusuf, aka Lord Shen, and Bernard Beidu have been charged with conspiracies to commit defrauding by false pretense and money laundering. Lord Edwasari has more from the courts.
In court on Tuesday, December 23, lawyers of Frederick Kumi, also known as Abutrika, and Bernard Beidu, led by Oliver Bakavomawo, raised preliminary jurisdictional objection to the Gbese court hearing the extradition case against the duo. Citing Section 51(5) of the Courts Act and the Extradition Act 1960 Act 22, Bakavomawo indicated that the Gbese courts ought not to be hearing the jurisdiction issue. But prosecution led by Assistant State Attorney Ernest Appiah opposed the objection raised by the Defense Counsel, describing it as misplaced and premature, in that all lower courts, including the Gbese District Courts, are creations of statutes and hence has jurisdiction to hear extradition cases. The lawyers also prayed for the second and third accused persons, Daniel Yusuf and Bernard Beidu, be discharged, arguing that the arrest warrants issued by the District Court did not ask for the detention of Lord Ishen, who had not confirmed his identity as Daniel Yusuf, nor Beidu, who had not been listed on the warrant. In her ruling, the presiding magistrate agreed with the prosecution and held that the court had jurisdiction to hear the legal objection. The court also dismissed the request to discharge A2 and A3 and further ordered the Ministry for the Interior to, within 5 weeks, give further information on the arrest warrant of Daniel Yusuf and Bernard Beidu. The court also dismissed bail applications moved by the lawyers of Daniel Yusuf, aka Lord Ishen, and Bernard Beidu. The presiding judge indicated that she was not convinced the accused persons will appear before the court, citing the nature of the case and the public interest in the matter. One of the lawyers of Abutrika spoke to the media after proceedings.
Bail for A1, whose name is retained on the indictment, has not really crystallized. That's why we didn't apply for bail for A1. But A2 and A3, their names are not on the indictment that was retained by the USA or the Department of Justice of the United States. So that's why we prayed for bail. But still, per Article 19, 14, and then Section 96, is still with the bosom of the court, the judge, and she exercises her discretion in favor of the state rather than the accused persons or the alleged fugitives.
What this means is that all 3 accused persons, namely Frederick Kumi, also known as Abutrika,
Bernard Adu and then Daniel Youssef are going to spend the next 5 weeks in remand because the case is back in court on January 13, by which time the court is expecting that the Minister for the Interior would have given orders as far as warrants is concerned or otherwise. We're monitoring these proceedings closely and we'll bring you updates as and when. Lord Idwasari, TV3 News, Accra.
And away from the courts, from extending the presidential term and taxing presidential emolument to capping the size of government, the Constitutional Review Committee's recommendations are drawing both praise and pushback. Governance experts, civil society actors and ordinary citizens have all weighed in on the proposals, reflecting a wide range of opinions and debates. As reactions continue to pour in, the proposals are fast becoming one of the most consequential constitutional conversations that Ghana has witnessed in decades.
The Constitutional Review Committee on Monday presented its far-reaching recommendations that could significantly reshape Ghana's governance, accountability systems, and democratic culture. At the heart of the proposal is a major rethink of the executive. Now, the committee recommended extending the presidential term from 4 to 5 years, arguing that the current term is too short for meaningful governance and long-term planning. Governance expert Professor Bafo Ajimendua agrees wholeheartedly with this recommendation.
The 5-year term that has been proposed is a good one. It's not out of sync with many other countries that we know.
At the same time, the committee proposed lowering the minimum age for presidential candidates from 40 years to 30, widening the space for youth participation at the highest level of leadership. Now, these recommendations have elicited various reactions from the public.
From 40 to 30, I think is fine. From 4 years to 5 years, I don't think that's a good idea. If everything is going bad, we have to wait an extra year before we can vote you out.
So I think 4 years is okay. So I think 30 years is good. For me, I will not agree to the age, the 30, I will not agree to it.
In a move aimed at promoting fairness and transparency, the president's salary, allowances and facilities, they would now be taxable with the newly proposed Independent Public Emoluments Commission, responsible for determining the pay of the president and other Article 71 office holders. To strengthen the separation of powers, the committee recommended that members of parliament should no longer be appointed as ministers of state. In addition, the total number of ministers, including deputies, would be capped at 57, reducing the size and the cost of government. Well, governance expert with the Center for Democratic Development, Professor John Osai-Kwapon, fully supports this recommendation.
I personally like the idea of truly decoupling executive power, from legislative. The recommendation that we stopped the practice of appointing majority of cabinet/ministers from, you allow your parliamentarians to focus on legislative work.
The proposal also addresses presidential immunity. Under the new framework, criminal proceedings could be brought against a former president within 4 years of leaving office for acts done in a personal capacity while in office. Turning to Parliament, the committee proposed capping the size of Parliament at 276 members, preventing unchecked expansion. It also recommended that Ghanaians by birth who hold dual citizenship should be allowed to contest parliamentary elections without renouncing their other nationality. And now in the fight against corruption, the committee called for a new independent anti-corruption and ethics commission with exclusive prosecutorial powers, removing that authority from the Attorney General. Judicial reforms are also on the table. The Supreme Court would be capped at 15 justices, while the Chief Justice would serve a single, non-renewable 10-year term, and it is aimed at promoting stability and independence of the judiciary. The asset declaration regime would also be strengthened, requiring the Auditor General to verify declarations and allowing them to be unsealed upon submission to enhance transparency. These and other recommendations remain proposals awaiting implementation. What more is needed to move the document to the next level?
Sustained public education. We don't want a repeat of history where we would go through this entire process and not even one recommendation is, even if it doesn't pass, one recommendation is even put up, whether if it's an entrenched provision, it is put up, for a referendum, or if it's an ordinary provision, Parliament considers it.
In more news this evening, the Ministry of Energy and Green Transition has assured the public of stable power supply throughout the Christmas festivities as engineers intensify work to strengthen electricity infrastructure in the Ashanti region. The engineers at the Ahomaso Power Station have been directed to ensure uninterrupted supply of power even as efforts continue to add on additional 140 megawatts to the substation by next week.
An additional 47 megawatts of power was added today to the Ahomaso Power Station, a development expected to significantly improve electricity generation and stabilize power supply in the Ashanti region and beyond. The expansion forms part of government broader strategy to strengthen national power grid and reduce the incidence of power outages, particularly during periods of high demand. Following a recent unannounced power outage that disrupted commercial and domestic activities in parts of Kumasi, the Deputy Minister for Energy and Green Transition, Richard Jan Mensah, paid a working visit to the power station to inspect ongoing works and assess measures being implemented to prevent future interruptions.
We don't want to sit down for demand to surpass the supply. So that is why we are consistently making sure that we have additional generation plants on board. Within the festivity too, I have already spoken with the engineers on site that they should also be mindful of the occasion, because we are in the Christmas season. The festivity requires a lot of energy to make sure that we fully enjoy the benefit of Christmas. So they should also be very mindful and be communicating. When there's the need for them to take power briefly, there should be a clear communication to the people so that the activities that they are undertaking will not bring any adverse effect to anyone. There's a commitment from government to make sure that we keep the lights on, and that is exactly what we are working towards.
Engineers at the station say the additional capacity will improve system reliability and support the growing electricity needs of households, businesses, and industries within the region.
The economy is growing and we need to have this additional capacity, and that is what, as the Honorable Minister said, we are not stopping with this. We are going to continue to bring even more capacity in Kumasi and other parts of Ghana so that we don't have to manage load like we have done in the past.
The Energy Ministry has assured residents that steps are being taken to ensure sustained power stability as well continues to upgrade power infrastructure nationwide. Ibrahim Abubakar, TV3 News, Kumasi.
Away from the Ashanti region, the Vice President, Professor Opoku Agyeman, has expressed concern about the impact of illegal mining and the indiscriminate dumping of toxic waste on marine life. During a working visit to the Ministry of Fisheries and Aquaculture, she pledged government support to address key challenges facing the sector.
Staff for Fisheries and Aquaculture, Emilia Arthur, announced the government's decision to add a Blue Economy Commission to the existing agencies under the ministry.
Our ministry, as I was saying, has two agencies, the Fisheries Commission and the National Premier Secretariat. Based on the decision, the recent decision by Cabinet, we are about to have a third, the Blue Economy Commission. And there, Your Excellency, we will need a lot of support when we come to discuss that from your very high office.
Vice President Professor Nana Jane Opoku Agyeman expressed concern over the increasing pollution of Ghana's seas caused by illegal mining activities and the indiscriminate dumping of plastic waste.
We also know the threats the sea environment faces. Galamsey, seeping into the sea. That's not something we should encourage at all. We also have plastics. Even more importantly too, toxic waste in our seas. Who is dumping what?
She pledged government support for the ministry while condemning illegal mining activities, excessive plastic and toxic waste that destroy the marine ecosystem.
When you talk about resources, of course, it's very important. And Emilia, you know, we'll do the best we can for the ministry. As for that, you can count on us. There's wealth in the waters. So let's find ways of bringing this wealth out, and especially affecting the lives of the fishermen and the fishmongers.
Professor Opoku-Agyeman criticized what she described as a growing lack of respect for the fishing profession. She noted that countries such as Japan and South Korea place a high value on fishing through specialized fisheries secondary schools that promotes training and knowledge sharing. Vice President Professor Opoku-Agyeman also assured fisherfolk of government's commitment to improving their livelihoods.
Now, the Inspector General of Police, Christian Tete Yohuno, says crime and other forms of impunity against journalists are over. Addressing the third dinner night of the Ghana Journalists Association, the IGP said personnel of the Ghana Police Service have been engaged to work closely with journalists to protect the country's democracy. We'll bring you that story later. This is still News 360 on TV3. We are always happy to hear from you on the many stories we have been rolling out since 7 when this bulletin started. In other news this evening, Royal Kingdom Estate has donated some items including sanitary and food items to the Jolu Special School, bringing relief and smiles to staff and students. Management of the real estate firm say the support forms part of their corporate social responsibility aimed at ensuring less privileged members of society share in the joy of the festive season.
Royal Kingdom Estate is committed not only to building homes, but also building communities as well. The company believes in investing in initiatives that uplift life, promote sustainability, and strengthen the bond between people and their environment. Seth Yamwa is the Director of Marketing and Innovation for the Royal Kingdom Estate.
This is something that we do not just once, not just twice, every year, and we try to adapt as many less privileged institutions out there as possible. And we have just decided to expand by adding Jolu Special School to the already existing institutions that we have already adapted. And we want to extend this to other organizations out there to also look out for institutions like this and do their bit of corporate social responsibility.
Receiving the items on behalf of the students, the headmaster of Jolu Special School, Frederick Tete, welcomed the gesture, describing it as timely.
The kids are so excited, they know that next month they are going to enjoy it. And I also want to thank Royal Kingdom Estate for this package that we've donated to this school.
Emanuela is the head girl and she could not hide her excitement. The students entertained the management and staff with a choreography.
That's the live on TV3. This is News 360. Stay with us. Business, sports, and entertainment are all coming up.
Oh, does it? Yes. Look right here. Yes. Pepsodent Charcoal has 2 of nature's powerful whitening ingredients. With the power of activated charcoal and lemon essence, it removes stains and whitens teeth naturally. Convinced?
Well, I am. Just look at your beautiful Pepsodent smiles.
For naturally whiter teeth, Pepsodent Charcoal.
Why are more and more professionals choosing Flamingo paint?
As an interior decorator, I aim for that beautiful, elegant look. Flamingo paint has great hiding ability to cover and transform old walls easily with just one coat.
Impressive. For me, as a professional painter, I love Flamingo paints because with this small paints, I paint huge area, meaning
Hello there, good evening and welcome to the business segment here on News 360. I am Michael Obodu. Now, the Chamber of Agribusiness Ghana has called for the introduction of a quota system on rice imports, saying it would help boost local consumption and production. The Chamber says the country is facing a glut of locally produced rice, which it blames on excessive imports undermining indigenous businesses.
Local rice producers say excessive imports have made it difficult for them to compete, leaving large quantities of unsold stock on the market. Speaking to 3 Business, the Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Chamber of Agribusiness, Anthony Morrison, urged government to establish a regulatory council to oversee food imports. He says such a body would help protect local farmers while ensuring fair competition within the sector.
We need to start looking at the quota system, where every year we give a quota system as to how much of tons of rice can be imported, so that we the farmers also work to address the production gaps. Those are the gaps that will eventually add to the economy.
The Chamber is also encouraging farmers to form cooperatives, saying collective bargaining could help reduce production costs and address some of the challenges facing the industry.
It has helped a lot because we come with our individual ideas, helping the farmers in a way that, how many bags can you supply us? Once you are a cooperative, you are able to source funds from the government as well.
Meanwhile, questions remain about consumer attitudes towards locally produced rice, including concerns over quality, pricing, and availability.
It's been good, like people are coming in, they are getting to know the products. Some know already, so they come and get their Christmas rice. They've bought a lot, they've bought quite a number.
People basically are reluctant to buy Ghana rice just because of they don't feel it may be a good rice, because they've been eating the imported rice for the last so many years.
The Rubber Farmers Association of Ghana has rejected claims that raw rubber exports are damaging the country's industrialization drive. It says calls for a ban are misleading and would hurt local livelihoods.
The association was responding to Ghana Rubber Estates Limited, the Rubber Processors Association, the Western Regional House of Chiefs, and Member of Parliament Michael Otrebefi. They allege exports undermine local processing and cost Ghana up to $100 million a year. RUFAC says these claims are false. At a press conference, it stressed exports are tightly regulated under the Tree Crop Development Authority, which licenses and monitors every shipment.
Farmers are praising TCDA that they are regulating the industry in a very perfect manner. So let them do their job professionally. But once they set the minimum pricing, then we are saying that that's the minimum price. Processors, exporters into this also offer their own price above the minimum pricing. So let the minimum price be there. And then let the competition happen among the various actors, and then they will pay higher. The one who pays higher price is the one that we go to.
Farmers argue the real issue is prices. While processors employ fewer than 1,000 workers nationwide, rubber farmers support more than 700,000 jobs, with over 2 million dependents relying on the sector. They accuse processors of trying to monopolize the market, forcing farmers to sell at artificially low prices. During the COVID-19 pandemic, exporters provided the only lifeline when processors stopped buying.
We are also drivers. In fact, we employ more people. So what we're saying is the economy is going on and is going higher. If the same product is going to the same place and Team A can pay more, so that we can do more.
For now, the association insists competition, not protectionism, is the key to sustaining Ghana's rubber industry.
Now, Ghana's construction sector is seeing a significant cooling of price pressures as building inflation for November 2025 dropped to 5.9%, down from 7.8% in October. This represents the 7th consecutive month decline in year-on-year inflation, providing a substantial window of relief for developers and homeowners.
According to data released by the Ghana Statistical Service, the current rate is a dramatic 16.7 percentage point drop from the peak of 22.6% recorded in December 2024. While the annual trend is downward, the general price level of building inputs rose marginally by 0.4% on a month-on-month basis. A detailed look at the subsectors reveals divergent pressures. Year-on-year inflation for materials eased to 4.2%. Year-on-year labor inflation stood at 12.7%, with a 2.6% increase between October and November alone. Inflation for plant slowed to 5.3%, though specialized equipment recorded the highest subgroup inflation of 15.2%. Acting Deputy Government Statistician Omar Seidu explains.
The cost of building materials is not only driven by individual household who purchase. Between November 2024 and November 2025, the prices of construction inputs is still going up. But the rate at which it is going up has slowed down.
The persistent rise in labor costs has also prompted calls for the state to expand training programs for artisans to bridge a growing skills gap in the construction industry.
We'll bring you updates now from the currency and the commodities market. And that'll be all for the business segment here on News 360. I am Michael Obodu. Up next, the sports.
When you're going to buy a paint, don't look left, don't look right.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to the sports segment here on News 360 with me, Oreku Ampofo. The big story coming in this evening is that Chelsea have decided not to pursue their interest in Ghanaian winger Antoine Semenyo as the Bournemouth forward starts the process of deciding his future. The Blues had earlier inquired about the 25-year-old but would not pursue it further. 4 other clubs have asked about Antoine Semenyo to varying degrees before the January transfer window. Those clubs are understood to be Manchester City, Manchester United, Liverpool, and then Tottenham. The 2 Manchester clubs are believed to have had the most concrete conversations so far. City, in particular, according to sources, have made positive progress in recent days and believe they are well placed to sign the Ghanaian. Liverpool have also checked on the conditions of the deal, and it remains to be seen if they accelerate their initial interest in light of Alexander Isak's broken leg. Tottenham are thought to be outsiders for the signature of Semenyo, who joined the Cherries in 2023 from Bristol City. Well, we still do more on Antoine Semenyo, and that's because his head coach, Andoni Iraola, says that he would wish to keep the Ghanaian. However, his future goes beyond just what he wants at the moment.
Antoine Semenyo right now is with us. Has trained today very well. He's playing very well. I understand that there is a lot of noise around Antoine, but my worry, my concern is that doesn't affect him, his performances, and we are seeing that it's not affecting his performances. He's very committed to the team, and I hope we can keep him there. No, there are situations that I cannot control or we cannot control, but right now Antoine is our player, and he's going to continue playing for us, and if you ask me, I don't want to lose him, definitely.
Well, the saga continues for the signature of Antoine Semenyo. However, let's come to the African continent, where Group D of the ongoing Africa Cup of Nations got off to an exciting start as Senegal delivered a dominant performance to claim a 3-0 victory over Botswana. Nicholas Jackson scored twice, breaking the deadlock before doubling the lead early in the second half, while in the second half, Ndiaye added a late third in stoppage time. Elsewhere, Nigeria secured a 2-1 win over Tanzania with goals from Semi Ajayi and Ademola Lookman, giving them a perfect start to the tournament. There was also the game between DR Congo, who narrowly beat Benin as well. Let's take a look at some of the highlights from earlier in the day.
It's too easy. Far too easy. Nicholas Jackson doubles his score, and Senegal have a 2-0 lead. Now, final probe here, and surely number 3. Sheriff Njai. Adds to the 2 goals from Nicholas Jackson.
And how about that made the pay? He was not going to miss from there, the 30-year-old. Crowded out by 2 Benin players, super pressing late on. Everybody to calm down. Well, I would have thought he had been better advised just to play it easily. And at long last, the referee blows his whistle.
Well, Tunisia are also getting ready for their opening game in the AFCON as well. That will be at 8 p.m. You can get more updates from the competition on our social media handles at 3SportsGH. My name is Oreku Ampofo.
And tonight in this segment, the 10th edition of BhimFest takes place tomorrow. A visit by 3 Entertainment to the Accra Sports Stadium shows that preparations for the event are in full swing. Vida Edichumwabuatin, head of PR at Benetton Music Group, briefed the team on level of readiness ahead of the highly anticipated festival.
Huge magnanimous setup. The idea is that wherever you find yourself in the stadium, we want you to feel connected to the main act, Stoneboy, and the other supporting artists that will be coming. So it's not a matter of you being able to purchase VIP or VVIP before you get that intimate feeling of, you know, having the artists perform. It's as simple as that. Wherever you find yourself in the stadium, feel connected to the reggae revival, to the Afro dancehall, to the Afro beats, and all the other sounds that you'll be hearing at the stadium. In terms of security, we are ready. We've alerted all the agencies. They are on standby. They are aware that we are expecting over 40,000 people here. So they are ready. About 500 plus security agencies will have their reps here just to make sure that law and order is enforced. We are ready. 5 p.m. we are starting. So when you get here before 5 p.m., immediately the clock ticks and it's 5 o'clock. You hear the sound from the stage. There's an MC that's going to speak. Stoneboy has promised everyone that he's going to get on stage at 10 p.m. because we want to do away with the fatigue that, you know, we render patrons or concert goers with. We just want to do away with that. Ensure that he's on stage by 10 p.m. so that you have a total full feeling of the 10th anniversary.
Evening, President Donald Trump's administration on Tuesday said it will slap tariffs on Chinese semiconductor imports over Beijing's unreasonable pursuit of chip industry dominance, but would delay the actual action until June 2027. The tariff will be announced at least 30 days in advance, according to the filing. This follows a year-long Section 301 unfair trade practices investigation into China's exports of legacy or older technology chips to the U.S., launched by former President Joe Biden's administration. The move preserves Trump's ability to impose the duties while seeking again to dial down tensions between Beijing in the face of Chinese export curbs on rare earth metals that global tech companies rely on and which China controls. As part of negotiations with China to delay those curbs, Washington pushed back a rule to restrict U.S. tech exports to units of already blocked Chinese companies. That's how we bring the bulletin to an end. Thank you so much for watching. Merry Christmas to you once again. I am Martin Asiedu-Date.
And I am Portia Gabodu. Join Beatrice Edu at 9 p.m. for Agenda, as well as with Alfredo Cancer at 10 p.m. for Ghana Tonight. Good evening.